regular meeting, Committee of the Whole, for Monday, October 20th, 2014. If everyone will stand, we'll start with our pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you remain standing, we'll ask Trustee Bendel will do some prayer tonight.
Dear God, thank you for this evening. Be with the people who are ill and sick and shut-ins. Be with the people that weren't able to come today but still want to hear the message that was given by the village. Give us strength to do your will and make the village stronger and more independent and being able to get the income it takes to be in the black instead of in the red. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen. Okay, thank you, Trustee Bendel. For the record reflect that this meeting started at 7:38. Communication for tonight. October is Fire Prevention Month. Chief Hughes has provided me with a flyer. He's asking that you come on down to the firehouse and join us for a day of fun, food, and safety tips. Stop by the firehouse. Open house is Saturday, this coming Saturday, October 25th from 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. here at the main firehouse. That's 14022 Park Avenue. Okay, anything you want to add to that, Chief?
Just we'll be doing several things, blood pressure checks all day long. We're going to do stuff with little kids, have them bring their teddy bears. We will be showing how we do extrication on a vehicle, how we get people out in a bad accident, and we're also going to have a car fire. And we're going to have some theatrical smoke where we're going to smoke up a hallway and show the little kids how to get out and everything. So it's going to be a fun day. We're gonna have hot dogs and everything. So 9 a.m. to 2:30.
Okay, you're going to have adult CPR also?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Adult CPR will start at 9, and I'll go to 10 o'clock. From 10 to 11 will be the Teddy Bear EMS performance for children. From 11:30 to 12, fire extinguisher, class 14 years and older. I imagine that's to teach them how to use fire extinguishers.
Right. Yes.
Okay, 12:30 to 1:30 is the Get Low and Go program, where they were training children and adults how to get low, what happens during the fire, and how to try to escape. 1:30 to 2 o'clock will be the auto extrication demonstration, and then from 2 to 2:30 will be an auto fire, which scenario will give the citizens a chance to see their fire department in action. Okay, thank you. It's this Saturday, October 25th. Order of business for the night. I'm sorry. Roll call. Clerk advised me that we need to do roll call.
Trustee Bendel?
Here.
Trustee Pearson?
Here.
Trustee Smith? Present. Trustee Hunt?
Present.
Trustee Brown?
Here.
Trustee Henyard?
Present.
Okay, let the record reflect that all members of the board are here.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Yes.
Can I make one announcement?
There'll be time for that. Yeah, you want to do it in your report.
We don't do
We
it.
don't have a report. Well, you got a housing update. Okay.
Oh,
Go
it's just
ahead.
a job.
Go ahead, trustee.
Just a friendly reminder, hiring event. It's the second annual hiring event, Friday, October 24th at 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. It's at South Suburban College in the gymnasium. Address is 15800 South State in South Holland. Thank you.
Okay. That's the event sponsored by the Congresswoman?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Order of business. A is Awaken Alternative. Mr. Irvin.
Yes, I was approached by Trustee Smith requesting that this topic be put on the agenda for tonight. There was an email that I sent out with their proposal or business plan on Friday. There were hard copies distributed tonight. I would turn the floor over to Ms. Thomas at this point.
Good evening. It's been a long time coming, 3.5 months. And truly, I just want to say that the opportunity to go through this period of time and evaluate the services and what's needed at the Dorchester has really been a challenge and a pleasure. I say a challenge because going in there within a 2-week period without having a lot of time to prepare, and the staff everyone not necessarily welcoming change has become a challenge. But we see the light at the end of the tunnel. We see a lot of positives. There's so much potential in that place. We see a lot of joy, a lot of things changing with the seniors and with the staff. And I say it as a pleasure as well because I truly have a love for developing systems and monitoring systems and bringing order to chaos. So it is quite a place to get a chance to experience your passion. First of all, I'd like to say that we have turned in a business plan, and I just want to highlight a few things. My cohorts here are Ed Campbell, who is our Director of Marketing, and Bakari Cowan, who is our Director of Operations, and he is also my administrative designee for the Dorchester. The Awakened Alternatives, which many of you have already heard about, and is a 22-year-old company. Our reputation and strategic relationships that we've developed over the years have uniquely prepared us for this expanded role of management of a supportive and/or assisted living facility. Since the time we started, we have incorporated Awakened Alternatives Management Services, so it is a separate corporate structure. The fact that the Dorchester is a senior housing for low-income seniors is of special note, considering our primary work over the years has been dedicated to the Medicaid and Medicare populations. As the state of Illinois entered into a Medicaid expansion program by placing all Medicaid recipients in managed care, Awakened Alternatives was positioned to subcontract with those MCOs to provide various aspects of case management and care coordination. This launched the company into a managed care arena, thus preparing us for the future of cost containment in healthcare. Our ability to develop and manage the systems of the Dorchester is evident in our 22 years of building a corporate infrastructure focused on human resource development and management, corporate compliance, regulatory compliance, financial stability and management, systems development and management, and liability management. Maintaining a viable business in this managed care environment has been heavily dependent upon our marketing and promotional efforts and expertise. We are currently involved in the social services arena of the Chicagoland area. Hospital discharge planners, rehabilitation facilities, and community members who would be looking for placement alternatives. We understand the needs of the community and the professionals that serve them, and our Director of Marketing is highly skilled in nurturing those relationships on behalf of the Dorchester. Our financial plan is laid out in the business plan, and I don't know if you want me to go through those details. You do? Okay. Our financial plan is based on projections for the next 3 years. We see our ability to increase the census as we continue to work on the image and organization of the Dorchester while building community and managed care relationships. We are optimistic about increasing the census, and that is reflected in our projections. However, our projections are conservative. Our focus will be on the Medicaid population versus private pay individuals. On average, our payment for the Medicaid population will be in the neighborhood of $2,200 monthly, while private payers range $900 to $1,300, and for the purposes of these projections, we calculated $1,100 for private pay. The annual financial summary only projects revenues generated from lease agreements and not those that can be generated as a result of revenue-generating ideas, which we have included in this business plan. This summary also does not reflect the expenses in total, as those are paid by the village. Cost savings generated as a result of the new efficiencies highlighted throughout this document are also not a part of summary and projections. The line item for salaries includes those for the administrator, who also serves as the director of nursing. And let me explain that. The last time we met, I said I was hiring a director of nursing. I did not end up hiring her. She did not end up coming on board because of some family issues. And so I decided not to, considering budgetary issues. I am a registered nurse. I have 2 LPNs that work, and I function as the registered nurse for sign-off for the annual, quarterlies, and giving the direction to the department. So I function in both of those roles. The DON, which is the Director of Nursing position, will be added when the census increases to approximately 75. Other salaries included in this line item include the Director of Operations at $60,000 and Marketing at $30,000. The marketing position is shared with the corporate office. Corporate overhead covers health insurance costs. Awaken Alternatives pays 50% of employees' premiums. Legal fees, use of corporate resources for recruitment and human resource management. Please note, this line item can be adjusted if the village prefers that a bill for health insurance costs is sent on a monthly basis along with payroll. Also, this line item can fluctuate due to employee option to accept or decline health care. The management proposal, we are proposing a 3-year management contract with the Village of Dolton. This contract should include the salaries and expenses outlined in the financial plan grid, which is included here. It is our expectation that we will be able to finalize contract negotiation once the village has prepared the financial document for our review by November 1st, 2014. Due to the timing of this proposal, we recognize that there may need to be an extension to the current interim agreement in order for contract negotiation to be completed through November, and that would be through November 30th, 2014. One of the next section in the proposal focuses on revenue generation ideas that we came up with. One of the first one we highlighted quickly is parking fees for events. Many times when we have events at the Dorchester, the maintenance staff then have to clean up the parking lot afterwards from bottles or bags or paper or whatever is left out there. And then, as many of you know, we have a very nice parking lot that it costs a lot of money to build. And so by this being a village-owned property, and it is under a not-for-profit status, I think it is reasonable, done in the right way, and can be done very tastefully if we charged anywhere from $2 to $5, depending on the event, for people to park there. No? I see a head shaking. It's just an idea. I think that it is doable in terms of cost. The village, of course, would be responsible for supplying the gate. And we're not talking about just somebody out there collecting money. We're talking about a formal gate. Seniors would not have to pay. Gates would be up when there would not be an event. And the village would participate in the revenues from the parking. And they also would be, we expect that it would take 6 months or less for the village to realize a return on their investment. The proposed parking fees, as I said, would be anywhere from $2 to $5, depending on the event. Another revenue-generating idea would be bingo returning. We have had several requests for what happened to bingo at the Dorchester And we recognize that there are several evenings when the large venue is not being used, when we could use that for bingo. It would have twofold advantages in that it would bring people in to keep the Dorchester in mind, and it also brings a lot of elderly people to the facility, and the people that live there used to love to go down to the bingo. So that is another idea, and we would have the license under the village, and it would be run by a professional bingo group, not by us. We also looked at the telephone system. We have a telephone system in the Dorchester that is so antiquated that we can't even transfer calls to one another. I usually have to get the secretary in the department to, you know, run and find somebody, or somebody's calling about the nursing department about a loved one or something, and I don't know how to reach them unless I, you know, knew their number. I have to know 7 numbers, you know, in order to call somebody. So Bakari, who is very well versed in telephone systems, has suggested that we look at what is called a VoIP system, Voice over Internet Protocol, Voice over IP, and we are recommending a system such as that. This system as a comprehensive solution for improving the communication needs administratively, operationally, and for the residents. In addition to the improvement in connectivity and communication internally and externally, this system gives us the opportunity to better control and eliminate the long-standing problem of paying for telephone lines that are not used. Voice over IP is indeed more cost-effective as phone service is provided over an internet connection. In addition, we can extend the telephone service to the residents, and payment would come directly to the Dorchester. When that resident no longer is in need of the service, it can be easily shut down by administration. So you have the built-in control, you have the opportunity to provide telephone service at a much more inexpensive rate, and charge that rate to the resident and make a small profit margin as well. So has lots of benefits to it. And then the last idea that we have put forth is the use of the banquet facilities for revenue generating events. When those banquet facilities are not being used by the management company of Giovanni's, we are very friendly, we all live in the same space, but we want to know that it is okay with the entity, the village, that owns that building, to work out an agreement whereby we would have the ability to have ongoing revenue generating events at the times when Giovanni's is not using those rooms, which are several evenings and days. So these are ideas that we put forth that we can discuss at a later time. Our marketing plan is extensive, and I'll let Mr. Campbell discuss that further. Administration-wise, in administration, you have myself, Bakari, Cowan, and we have an administrative assistant. That administrative assistant has just been hired for a little more than what we had our previous person for, but it has brought great efficiencies to that office and to the Dorchester in general. And let me explain that. We wanted somebody and needed somebody in that office who can handle all general office matters for us, can answer the phone, who can field calls, who could send reports that are required monthly, quarterly and annually to the state, who could do payroll, who could respond to notes and letters and anything else that comes in. And we needed somebody who could do flyers, schedules, and just be the hub of the business instead of having an expensive administrator sitting there doing that kind of thing. So we have a person, her name is Tanya Hamilton, who does that, which frees Bakari up to truly be a director of operations, meaning somebody who's out there amongst the seniors, talking with them, getting to know them, finding out what's going on with them, because in order for us to build the reputation of the Dorchester and the village of Dolton and to bring in more residents, we must improve our image. That's what we have found to be the problem as we go out and market. We must compete with facilities that are newer, more modern, and so we had to establish what is our unique selling point. Our unique selling point is that we have wonderful smiles on the faces when you walk in the door. Our customer service is excellent. The residents, when they tell us that they have a complaint, we say thank you for letting us know. We will make the change when we can. So it's customer service friendly internally and for anybody that comes in. The food is great. We have a chef. People come in from the outside to eat. We invite people in consistently to take advantage of that, and I hope all of you will at some point in time. And it is a homey atmosphere, and the seniors are happy. We have music during lunchtime. One of our volunteers, Jerome, Jerome, what do you call yourself?
Last name is Gray. Are you talking about
Golden Groover, plays music during lunchtime, and the atmosphere is completely different when that happens. So we had to really examine ourselves to see where's the problem. And Ed can certainly tell you too, the comments that we've gotten back from people in the field that you go to market to talk about what they've heard. And, you know, is it going to stay open? Is it going to close? Is it, you know, I'm not going to send people over there for something that's shaky. You know, who's fussing, who's fighting, who's, you know, there's a lot out there, and there's a lot on the internet. And so we have been doing damage control like nobody's business. And we have to be honest about that in a meeting where you have residents as well as the board. We want you to be clearly understand what you're up against. But that image is changing. One thing I have to say, and I'm not going to say this just because he is a part of my team, but Ed Campbell is a master at getting people on his side and getting people to listen to what the positives are about our company and about that Dorchester. So we feel very positive about the future of the Dorchester and what's going to happen. Also, our projections are based on increases in census of 8, 12, and then 15 in the third year residents. We feel confident that that's a very modest number of increase. We feel confident that it will happen to an even greater degree than that, simply because of our knowledge of the managed care arena and the fact that the majority of all of the people who are Medicare and Medicaid eligible, which are called dual eligibles, are going into one of the 6 managed care organizations that were chosen by the state. Those managed care organizations are the ones that we have contracts with already. They will select supportive and assisted living facilities for members to be a part of, and so we are marketing them, and that's in the future for where many of our referrals will come from versus just word of mouth or what have you. I will be quiet, let you ask questions, and certainly marketing is a major part of this plan. And so if there's any questions that you have regarding that, Ed is here to respond to that as well.
Can you ask questions? Well, I got a ton of questions. My first question is, how did everything go with the state?
Oh, that's an important question. During the time that we've been here, the 3.5 months, the state has been in 5 times, not legitimately. The state was called on 3 occasions through disgruntled past administration and staff. So we also called the state in for a technical review to give us an idea of where we were for the annual review. The annual review did occur on the 29th of September. We worked long, hard hours preparing for it. But I am happy to say today that we got one citation. And that one citation had to do with, we worked so hard trying to pull things together, get everything together, that we forgot to do a criminal background check on one of us. So we got cited for that. Other than that, it was a clean survey.
What do you mean by that?
That means that we didn't get any citations in our clinical area, in dietary, and housekeeping, in any of those areas.
No, on the background, you say you did not do a criminal background?
Yes, all staff have to have criminal background check within 7 days of starting work. Well, as you know, we started, immediately, and, didn't do criminal background checks on us within the 7 days that's required. That was the only citation.
So do you have a report that the state gave you or anything, or
Yes.
phone number or?
Yes, I do.
anything? Can we have that?
I don't have it with me. I have it in the office, but I can certainly share that if you like.
Yes, please. My next question is, how many residents are present at the questions today? What's the number? of
We have
residents
40 now.
40? Exactly 40?
Pardon me?
Exactly 40?
Exactly 40.
Okay.
Yes,
And how many was there when you took possession?
40.
We had 40 people when you took office?
43, sorry, 43.
43. And what happened to the,
Well, one left because she was hospice ready, which means that, well, if everybody knows what hospice is. So she needed to go to the appropriate facility. Another one passed. And another one was inappropriate and threatened staff with a knife, and so we had to do an emergency discharge. And then we gained 2.
so you brought 2 in?
We brought 2 in and lost 3 overall.
I think there was 2 that passed.
There were 2 different.
2 that
2 that
passed.
passed. Okay.
So you brought how many in?
We brought 2.
2, and they still there now?
Yes. Yeah, it should be 42.
Right, maybe.
You should be at 42. Down to 38.
No, we're at-
One of
Come on,
these,
Mari, what did you say?
Okay, I'm confused. So you had 38 residents or you had 40 residents?
It went down to 38,
Okay?
and we brought in 2 more. So we had 2 that passed. One that was unfit for the facility. She was removed as well. We had another that was violent, the one that attended to staff. She left. We brought in 2 on top of that. No, I'm mistaken that they sorry, and Mr. He was discharged to the hospital for health reasons and did not return. So that brought us down to 38, then we brought on 2 ourselves. So that put it down.
Okay, but when you first came in, you was at 43?
43.
Right.
So now you're currently at 40?
Yeah.
Right. And also, with the state surveys, one of the calls that staff, that past administration made was related to the lady who no longer was appropriate for the facility because she was hospice ready. And they felt that it was inappropriate, that we inappropriately discharged her, so they called the state. When the state came in, they reviewed all of the residents, and they told us that we had to get rid of 7 as a result of that, because 7 people are inappropriate.
Do you
for the
understand what that
facility.
situation is, trustee?
Yes, I do. I'm just listening, taking notes.
Okay.
Okay, my next question is, how many people have you let go and how many people have you hired? What's your numbers on hiring and firing?
Well, I don't have those exact numbers, but let me see if I can run that down for you. There's only been 2 firings, 1 for theft, 1 for, come on, Bakar, you can help me with this one. want the first one for,
We had one for theft. We also had one for retired. One that retired, one that was let go with theft. Some was suspended for just inappropriate behavior. The work ethic, we're going to let go to.
we're going to let go 2 people.
So theft and retire. Okay, and what about hires? Because I know that trustee Hunt was stating to bring it across the board when you want to hire new people, because we was paying them out.
I'm
So
sorry.
hiring, how many people have you hired?
We've hired 1 nurse, 1 LPN, 1 secretary, 1 maintenance or 2 maintenance? 2 maintenance,
Okay,
1 security. No security. And some of those people may be replacements.
okay.
So
That's
a
why
lot-
I'm asking, 'cause I'm trying to understand our budget. Where are you now, and where were you when you came in? That's what I'm asking, the hires and the fires. Are you balancing out?
Okay.
Is you charging
There have been
more
no
money?
positions added.
No positions added.
No
So if
positions
each
added.
position you hired, you replace someone else.
Right. There have been no positions added.
You said 1
Please.
nurse, what was the other hires? 1 nurse, 1
One LPN and 2 maintenance.
You know what, it would be better than going through this like this, to give you a rundown of them. Because this is kind of haphazard, and this is not appropriate for the public, but there have been no positions added. There might have been people added to fill positions, or people added to fill vacancies that had been there. Like, for example, when I came, there was only 1 LPN who was covering 7 days a week.
And that was,
There was a lot of overtime.
that was a position that just left right before we came.
Okay, but them the numbers that I'm into, that I like to see, as far as budget, what you're spending and where we are, that's what I care about. And my last question, and I can let somebody else take over, handbooks and policies and procedures, because I know you say you replace certain people. When you do that, do you do it like write-ups, warnings, suspension, what's your policy and procedure?
For write-ups and suspensions,
For anybody, any of your staff, you have a step-by-step policy and procedures for them. Do they get a warning? Do they get a suspension? How do you do it?
it depends on the infraction.
Okay?
If there are infractions that require immediate suspension, there are some that require termination. So it depends on what it is, but yeah, there are, steps, progressive disciplinary action. Then we do write them up. If there are people who, and what you might be referring to, are people who have been taken off of the schedule because they are so tardy and undependable, that you have to put somebody in their place when they're not there. You can't just leave the place vacant. I mean, we've had people who actually are no call, no shows, and then come back and wonder what happened.
Okay. And do you have copies of your write-up procedures, or if we ask for it, you have copies of that? You gave a warning if you gave...
We have general policies and procedures that deal with progressive disciplinary action. Now, specific to the Dorchester, no.
Okay, so you don't have...
But we have corporate policies and procedures that have progressive disciplinary action outlined.
Okay. Last question. I'm pretty sure it's last one. Where was everybody, it was about, I say a month ago or so, you guys was at a conference, nobody was managing Dorchester? Why is that?
Could you be more
There's
specific?
never a
You
time.
guys went to a conference.
Can you be more specific in that question?
That's what I'm saying. We went to a conference.
So
Was
what
anybody
conference?
there as
What
the...
conference and what date?
I don't know. I'm asking a
How can we
question.
just answer a question when you don't have a
Okay,
date?
so was the Dorchester always managed to be? You guys all
Always.
wasn't never
It's
gone all
always
at one
managed.
time?
It's always managed.
Okay. I just like to say, I just like to for the record.
Yeah, it's always managed, 24/7.
We can't just answer just a, ambiguous question.
Okay. You're entitled to answer or don't answer. Thank
I'd
you.
love to answer for you.
Thank you.
Oh,
I'm done. Yep.
Thank you for the proposal. I do have a couple of questions. Did some of your proposals, when I look at the financial plan, really doesn't include the bills that we actually paying out? I asked the village manager to kind of give me a number. Did he give you this sheet?
Yes.
And I'm just, I'm kind of, right now, total revenue just says 266,000. That number might be off, so I was going to be generous and say, let's say that the Georgia Church actually brought in 350,000 so far. The total expenses so far is actually $820,000. So far we lost, and it's not saying it's your fault, we lost $476,000 so far. We lose about $100,000 a month.
Is that 100,000, is that based on you subtracting the revenues from the expenses from the revenues?
Yeah.
Strictly by this?
I mean, unless you have something better, just give us some numbers, because
Well, no, what I want to point out is that the revenues here have to do with June through September.
You mean,
June through September.
yeah, so that's
But
why
the
I was
expenses-
generous. So
Yeah, but
it
the
has 260, so I said, let's say I bumped it up like an extra 90. That's why I said not use 260.
why, do those
350,000.
come to about 45 a month? Is that what it is?
Comes about 40, that's about extra, I put it up extra 90, so that's 45, yeah, 45 for October, then I bumped it up to 33,000 for May.
Okay. And then, so you added in there what you were missing from, because you have the expenses with 2 more months added to that.
Yeah,
May
actually,
and October.
I bumped it up about a 90,000. I'm estimating I only really should have bumped it up maybe 78,000. I was just being a little more generous, bumping it up 90,000. I could even bump it up 100,000. It's probably just rough estimates. I don't have anything else. If you have anything different, because I think one thing as a manager, we do really want you to be able to tell us how much we lose in the month. Just let us know. I mean, the village manager came up with this at the very, and not trying to be hard on you.
No, we
you
did
don't
this,
really
we did
probably-
this together. This was, I gave him the revenues and he gave us the expenses, because we don't manage the expenses, but we do know the revenues,
Okay, yeah.
just from leases and from the state.
All right, well, we would need somebody, I don't know if you have an accountant or you was doing it, someone needs to come up with, basically it's $1 million organization. And you should at least have some type of financial statements each month telling you the complete picture of what's going on. And it just is kind of it's kind of tough for me or even as citizens. Let's keep on losing $100,000.
Wait, what did you say first? Repeat that again.
Say what? Repeat what?
The first part of your sentence. I lost it. Can you just repeat it again?
It's kind of hard for me.
Before that.
I don't know what I don't remember.
You know what, I don't know if it's...
exactly. I know what point I'm trying to make. I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying.
You're asking the management company to be responsible for the finances of the village, the monthly finances. Is that correct?
Well, just give me a report or let us know how much is really. Let us know. I know you give us the bills and we just take care of them, but it'd be nice to know this is how much the Dorchester is
To get a
cost.
comprehensive view of that. We would
Yeah,
need
not just what Mr. Man. Yeah, just what is this or what is this thing doing? It's $1 million. It's $1 million. That's just monthly report.
That's what
Well,
you said.
we
It's
really-
$1 million renovation. Is that what you said? Something like that?
$1 million. No, I'm saying it's like $1 million. It's like $1 million company over there. The little organization is $1 million. The revenue was $1 million. Yeah, revenue.
We know what the expenses are.
We know what the expenses
Yeah,
are.
no, she said that she knows what the revenue is on a monthly basis. Now, the expenses could run, are you talking about the expenses for the people that are operating in Dorchester, or the total expenses?
I'm going off this total was staying total for the last 5 months.
Yeah, well, it's not the 5 months, it's the
It's from May 1st through October 1st, I believe it is.
October 22nd.
22nd, whatever the date is.
All right, what were you going to say, Stan?
Just last week, earlier in the week, I contacted Ms. Thomas via email saying that we need to get a revenue report on a regular basis so that we can present good, solid numbers to the board. We will be working on that this week and next week. I can guarantee by the board meeting of November, we will have a final May through October analysis. The only thing that will be backdated, I'll use that word, is the state's contribution. As you can see in the report that I prepared, we are still waiting for the August check from the state, just like the village is waiting for its sales taxes. The state is always behind anywhere from 60 to 90 days. We'll just have to make projections of an average. Right now, the average state contribution to the Dorchester is about $45,000 a month. But we'll have that in the analysis.
Now, we'll have our regular fixed cost on employees, on salary.
You have that tonight.
Yeah, okay, we'll have a regular fixed cost on that. Generally, every month, how is the overtime running?
Well, we've reduced overtime considerably, and we really do an analysis on that. Part of the problem, and we really did have to deal with this because it's a labor law issue, instead of hiring people full-time, they hired people part-time and scheduled them full-time hours. And that was something that I can't continue that practice because it's a labor law issue. So we did bring people on full-time. We had to give them full-time status, which means that people are entitled to benefits, and some people are electing benefits. So that has reduced, and then some people took full-time, that has reduced, and positions were filled, so that's reduced the overtime, the time and a half. Nursing department had a lot of overtime for the nurse because she was working 24/7.
Where are we at with overtime, with the average?
Pardon me?
Where are we at with overtime average, and what departments average at overtime?
I didn't look at this last payroll, which is Wednesday. Do you have any idea? We could look at that as an analysis and provide that as well, an analysis of overtime.
Okay.
But we've reduced it significantly. It was a lot of overtime.
Are you interested in buying the Dorchester?
Depends on how much you want to charge me.
I mean, right now, in 2012, we lost $1 million. It looked like we probably going to lose another $1 million this year. I mean, a joke for some of us, you give it to you for free, we save $1 million. I mean, we won't want to give it for free, but we lose a lot of money just right now. So, I mean, not to say, but I mean, if we didn't have this asset on our books right now, we'd save it, we basically be up $1 million.
Are you sure about that? Are you
Well,
100% positive?
That was in 2012, so if the numbers.
You can't compare it to 2012. 2012, it was run completely inappropriately. Unfortunately, you can't compare it because that's all we do have to compare it to, but to compare wrong with right is like comparing apples and oranges. One is what you want and one is what you don't want. One is what you were getting when she just came to the door and told you how everything was wrong.
Well, one thing I can do, I can look on these projections, I can see that there's still going to be losses. So I'm thinking that our yearly expenses is going to be I'm thinking our yearly expenses will be roughly $1.6 million for the Dorchester. If I look at the revenue for 2015, they said $924,000. 2006, that's still a difference. It's only going to be $1 million, so that's still a difference of $600,000. And then 2007 is still.
Again, you are
It seems like we're never going to break
comparing these
even.
numbers. I'm not trying to, just overrun you or just talk all over you, but you continue to compare when things weren't run right. You continue to compare with people who just came in and did what they wanted to do. And thank God we do have these people in here because they've taken care of it. They've taken responsibility for things other people did, just like we're doing. So it's not going to just happen overnight. Unfortunately, I wish I could just snap my finger and put us in the black completely in that building, have it completely filled with residents, and have it turn in a profit so it could come back to the village. But unfortunately, that's not how it goes, because you have to fix everything that was done wrong first and then start doing it right. And unfortunately, you still got a couple of people who would like
And that's
for it
why
to
we
be
need-
run
That's why we need a simple report with everything included on a monthly basis that has it all simplified in a spreadsheet to tell what the revenues are and what the cost is for everything. We even need to estimate the water usage so that we know all the costs and then have a bottom line figure of how much we're losing on a monthly basis. This can also be used to determine if there's improvement on a month-to-month basis. And I don't know how long we give this, but we need to see what we're losing and not hear about revenue in one report and losses in another, and we can't put it together. And then you say, well, we lost some money over here too, well, we had, your figures didn't include this. It should include everything that is the revenues brought in and expenses paid out. And my only other question is, do you have a projection of when you would start to bring people in, how many you expect to bring in on a monthly basis, or over the next quarter, how many you think you might be bringing in?
You know, bringing people in is a tough thing to project. This is a facility that has a lot of competition. You've got Victory Centers within 10 to 15 miles of us, and all of them have been built after the year 2000. They have larger apartments, newer amenities, better capitalized. So someone who's getting a state waiver of $600 a month, they can choose a much larger facility. The reputation of the facility is still something that has to be overcome. Many people only see that facility as a banquet hall. They don't even really know about the senior side. I'm going to tell you tonight, the things that need to be done to change that environment, they're being done right now. The facility is in the Seniors Blue Book, so that's a publication where we are presented online as well as in printed form, and there are over 100,000 copies of that book being distributed right now. I've got 2,000 copies in the facility, and I've gone through a third of them already. The facility is advertised in the Shopper. You've seen that for the last several months. Gospel Tribune, South Suburban News,